Hey guys, today we're going to be on chapter 34, the nervous system. So grab your highlighter, your pen. I'm going to give you guys some information that you will need for this exam. I'm going to start on page 588. Again, I'm in chapter 34, the nervous system, page 588, starting with table 34-2, 34-3, I'm sorry, pharmaceutical treatments for anxiety. And some of you guys probably have anxiety throughout this module. I just thought that was funny. All right, pharmaceutical treatments for anxiety. All right, if you guys take a look at my generic names. If you guys want to write this just on the side here, you just want to write this little note for me. So most of your anxiety medication, they may be something called a benzodiazepine, benzodiazepine. They're going to end in AM, or some people may say, hey, benzodiazepines, they end in PAM, PAM, or LAM. So on your exam, I'm going to ask you guys which of the following drugs is considered a benzodiazepine. Again, benzodiazepines that end in AM, PAM, PAM, or LAM, LAM. I used to, the way I remember what was considered a benzodiazepine, I was like, okay, so benzodiazepine, that is used to treat people who have anxiety. Okay, so Pam, she always have high anxiety because Pam is crazy. Okay, so if Pam have high anxiety and Pam is considered to be crazy, Pam, benzodiazepines, most of those drugs are going to end in Pam, Lam, Am. All righty, moving right along. Go ahead and highlight. You guys will need to know both brand name and generic here. My first drug, I have alprazolam, that is Xanax. Street drug, they may call them Panda Boy. I think the street name will be called Panda Boy or something like that. Down to my fourth drug, we have diazepam, Valium, and right underneath we have lorazepam, Ativan. If you guys notice that the drugs that I did give you guys, they have in parentheses, it has C-IV. C-IV. That means that it is a scheduled drug. It's actually a Schedule 4 narcotic. So on your exam, I may ask you guys, which of the following drugs is considered a Schedule 4 narcotic? There it is right there in table 34-3. Your Schedule 4 narcotics. Most of your drugs that are considered benzodiazepines, there will be a Schedule 4, by the way. And what does that mean, a Schedule 4 narcotic? Write this down. It will be on your exam. Write it down. A Schedule 4 narcotic means you have 5 refills within 6 months. Schedule 4 narcotics. That means the patient must have a prescription, number one. And they also have 5 refills within 6 months of that date that prescription was written. If you go past that, they will not renew that, refill your medication. You cannot say, hey, oh, I need another prescription. I need a refill. Past those 6 months, you got to go back and you got to see the doctor. Also, the doctor must have a DEA number, and you guys will learn how to configure DEA codes very, very shortly. So pharmaceutical treatments for anxiety, most of them are C4s, most of them are benzodiazepines, PAM, AM, LAM, benzodiazepine, pharmaceutical treatment for anxiety. All right, now we're going to flip to page 590, pharmaceutical treatments for depression. I don't want you guys to focus in on the classification because that can be a little bit complex. Once we come back around in anatomy real shortly in like the next couple of weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, then I'm going to break down what's an SSRI, what's an SNRI, TCA, so forth and so on. So with my table 34-4, those questions are going to be, which of the following drugs is considered a prescription treatment for depression? You guys will need to know both brand name and generic here. All right, starting with my SSRI, you need to know all of them. You need to know all of my SSRIs for your exam. You have citalopram, Celexa, paroxetine, Paxil, fluoxetine, Prozac, Sertraline, Zoloft, brand name and generic. With my SNRI, you know all of my SNRIs. You have the lactitine, Cymbalta, venlafaxine, Effexor. With my TCAs, my first drug, amitriptyline, Elavil. And last but not least, that last column on table 34-4 on page 590, you have bupropion, that is my Wellbutrin. All right. Page 591, table 34-5, we have my pharmaceutical treatments for bipolar disorder. I tell a funny joke to the students on Mondays. I'm high energy, I feel good, I'm smiling, I'm happy. It's Monday. I'm ready to work, so I expect my students to ready to work, right? I expect you guys to come in and you want to do the labs, and I put you guys through a boot camp right on a Monday, and you guys will say, "Oh, Miss Summer, it's Monday. All this work on a Monday." That's because I take this drug. Oh, it is prescribed. I take Clonopin. Clonopin, clonazepam. If you guys see in parentheses, it says C dash IV. It is a Schedule 4, which means what? Schedule 4 means what? Also, I see Pam, which brings me back to my next thing. Pam has high anxiety. Pam must be crazy, right? Benzodiazepines, and then Pam. So here you guys will need to know both brand name and generic for your medication, pharmaceutical treatments for bipolar disorder. My first drug, I have my clonazepam, Klonopin. Hey, I have my gabapentin, Neurontin. Um, what I do know that now people are starting to abuse gabapentin, Neurontin. They're taking this medication because it can be used to, if you have like some type of nerve damage, it can help with the pain. If you have like some type of nerve damage pain. So people are actually starting to abuse Neurontin, gabapentin, and they have multiple uses for gabapentin, Neurontin. And then also we have Lamotadine, Lamictal, that last drug, not the last drug, the second to last drug. So here you guys will need to know brand name and generic as well. Page 592, table 34-6, pharmaceutical treatments for psychosis. Let me stop you guys right there. I take Klonopin as a mood stabilizer. That way I'm not, just, yeah, all these students, we're online. Yes, I don't feel like that. I don't feel anxious all the time. So it's a mood stabilizer as well, bipolar disorder. Uh, Page 592, table 34-6, pharmaceutical treatments for psychosis. My first drug, aripiprazole, Abilify, just brand name and generic. And then on page 593, table 34-6, pharmaceutical treatments for psychosis, haloperidol, Haldol. If you guys ever worked in a nursing home, usually in a nursing home, Haldol, that is so like old school psychosis medication. Usually they would, a lot of the nursing homes still use Paradol. A lot of your nursing homes still use Paradol. All right, page 594. Page 594, table 34-7, pharmaceutical treatments for insomnia. All right, I want you guys to know these brand names. We have Restoril, Lunesta, and Ambien. I want you guys to know those drugs, brand name only. Restoril, Lunesta, and Ambien. Pharmaceutical treatments for insomnia. Which of the following drugs is used to treat insomnia? All of the following drugs except it's used to treat insomnia. All right. Page 597. I don't have a chart here, but I do want you guys to go ahead and highlight this first sentence underneath stimulant, because I'm going to talk about it when we get to my ADHD medication. Stimulant. Think of like coffee or something like that. If you take a stimulant and now you're high energy, you're ready to go, you're ready to do whatever you got to do. It pretty much gives you a lot of energy. It helps you focus. So make highlight that first sentence for stimulant. Page 598, table 34-9, pharmaceutical treatments for ADD, ADHD. I think I'm like ADD, ADHD or something, like when I'm cleaning up, because it takes me about 5 hours to clean my house because I'm just bouncing room to room to room, and then I started here, I gotta go on this side, I'm dumping the trash, and now I'm picking up trash in the yard, go back into the house, I start washing dishes. And then from there, I realized that, oh, I forgot to fold my clothes. So I think I have a little bit of ADHD as well. So table 34-9, pharmaceutical treatments for ADHD. On a side of ADHD, I have you guys writing in your book. I need you guys to go ahead and write C2. Most of your drugs for ADD, ADHD are going to be C2 narcotics. All right. C2 narcotics, that means what? That means that the patient needs a prescription for it. You need a prescription every time you refill this medication. Every time you go to try to refill your medication, you need a prescription for it. Adderall. What the doctor may do, if any of you guys take Adderall, you may know somebody that takes Adderall, they may have like multiple prescriptions that's already like predated or whatever. You may have a prescription that says 9/7/2021, and then your next refill may say 10/7/2021. Then you'll have another one that says 11/7/2021. So they would do something like that, but you can't refill that medication until that date. Not refill, there's zero refills, no refills on C2. Zero refills on C2. Write that down. You have zero refills on Schedule 2. You need a prescription every time you get that medication. So I think I probably said it wrong in the beginning. Somebody was calling my work phone. But C2 narcotics, zero refill. You need a prescription every single time you need that medication. All right. Table 34-9. Both brand name and generic here. All right. Oh, another thing before I even jump into that, look at my generic names. What you guys notice with my generic names for my pharmaceutical treatments for ADD, ADHD? Well, this is what I noticed when I was studying for my PTCE. Most of their generics are going to end in phetamine or phenidate. You guys see that? Phetamine or phenidate. If you guys see that on a drug, the 9 times out of 10 is going to be a C2 narcotic. 9 times out of 10 is going to be used to treat ADD, ADHD. All right, so brand name and generic here. We have amphetamine, dextroamphetamine, that is your Adderall. You have atomoxetine, Strattera. Now put a big star by this drug, and this is why I made you guys highlight stimulant, that first sentence under stimulant. Strattera is the only ADD, ADHD medication that is not considered a stimulant. Strattera, atomoxetine, is probably the only ADD, ADHD medication that is not considered a stimulant. What is a stimulant? Something that's going to give you all this energy, help you focus, and things like that. But Strattera is actually not considered a stimulant. All right. Next, we have dexmethylphenidate, Focalin, dextroamphetamine, dextran. We have lisdexamphetamine, Vyvanse. You have methylphenidate, which is a C2, Ritalin. So those are the drugs you need for ADD, ADHD. All right. Now we're going to flip. We're going to go to page 608, table 34-14, with my narcotics used to treat pain. My narcotics used to treat pain. 608, table 34-14. All right, with my third column, you have dilaudid hydromorphone. Right underneath that, you have your Duragesic. That is my fentanyl patch. Right now, people are doing something stupid. It is very, very stupid. A lot of people are dying. They're taking your fentanyl, and they're lacing their blunts, their joints, weed with it. Fentanyl is a C2 narcotic that can kill you. You may as well just start chewing crack. You may as well eat crack. You may as well go hit a line, key bump, some cocaine, because that's how dangerous this medication is. So fentanyl, that is a C2 narcotic. Again, with your C2 narcotic, most of your pain meds are going to be C2 narcotics anyway because they're highly addictive. So you have zero refills with your C2 narcotics. They may give you multiple prescriptions, like I said it with my Adderall, post-dated. This one is for 9/7, this one is for 9/10, but you don't have multiple refills. You need a new prescription every time you receive that medication. And then also on page 609, table 34-14, my first drug, you have Oxycontin, which will be my oxycodone. So this will be all you guys have for chapter 34. You have the exam review. That's going to give you a couple of those questions. You also have your study notes, and now you guys have the Zoom If you have any questions or concern, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. But that's all I have for you guys. Adios.